Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the MJX X900 nano hexacopter. And now this is the world's smallest hexacopter, at least for now. And it's pretty small and pretty cool. I like the look of it. And this has the same overall design as the other MJX hexacopters, so kind of cool to have the whole nano, micro, and mini line of them all looking the same. It has an internal battery like most nanos do. However, it is quite a big battery. It is 180 milliamp hours, so pretty big for a nano. We've got a USB charger and a full set of spare props. And that USB charger can actually plug into the transmitter as well and charge off the transmitter if you want. So if you plug into like a USB adapter, computer port or whatever, you're going to get about a 30-minute charge time. Plugging into the transmitter, you get about a 40-minute charge time. Flight time, you're looking at about 4 minutes and 40 seconds with a 20-second LVC warning, so about 5-minute total flight time. So even though it has that big battery, it's still about the standard flight time for a nano, just because you've got 6 motors and a little bit more weight to it. And it does fly a little bit heavy. This is a pretty heavy little thing for how small it is, so it kind of feels heavy in the air. And not super aggressive flying style. The transmitter is really bizarre. It's got buttons just everywhere, and it kind of like a PlayStation style transmitter. Your rates are on the power switch here, so you've got low, medium, and high, which I'm not a big fan of that being on the power switch, just because if you're trying to change mid-flight, that's awkward, and then you risk accidentally turning it off. You've also got a function button and a RUD aileron button, which this actually changes between mode 2 and mode 4, so it moves the rudder to the right stick and the aileron to the left stick, and that's mode 4. The function button, let's see, I don't think that actually does anything on this one. I can't remember for sure. This has just got so many buttons. I don't see in my notes it saying anything about that button. So I think that is non-functional on this model. But then you've got your left and right trim and left and right yaw trim over here, and then your up and forward and backward pitch trim over there. And then you've got 4 shoulder buttons, but these 2 buttons do not do anything. The back ones work though. So the right R2 button over here turns the LEDs on and off, and we'll go ahead and turn it on so you can see the LEDs. You've got red on the front, and it looks like there are tiny little blue eyes there in the front as well, and then all the other 4 motors have blue on them. So you can go ahead and you can turn those on and off with the right 2 button if you want. The left 2 button just does an automatic flip, so I think each time you press it, it flips in a different direction. But if you're in high rates, then it's 100% flip mode. So anytime you give full stick input, it flips. So I'm not a big fan of that. It makes it pretty much impossible to fly unless you're like really careful not to give full stick inputs. So kind of weird there. There's no, press a button and just do a flip. You can't do that with this one. If you click the right stick, it turns the controller into a gravity sensor. So you see here it says gravity sensor. So you click that, and now you can just use the accelerometer in the transmitter to fly the quad. I mean, you still got to do throttle and yaw over on the left stick, but all your pitch is done by changing the position of the transmitter, so that's kind of cool. Let's see. Oh, the sticks are a little bit short and fat for pinching, and since you've got like buttons and these hard edges on the side, you kind of end up hitting your fingers into stuff, so it's a little bit hard to pinch with these sticks. However, this does use the same protocol as all the other MJX models, so if you've got one of the bigger ones that came with this transmitter, which, more hobby grade style with sticks on it, you can actually use this to fly it as well. So that's pretty cool to be able to use the bigger transmitter. However, you've got, you know, some different buttons on this. Like these have this weird throttle gain thing, so you can actually use that as well and turn down the throttle gain so you don't have as much punchiness in the throttle. Let's see, is there anything else to say? Oh, you can recalibrate it by holding both sticks down to the right. That'll recalibrate the accelerometer. Let's see, anything else? Checking my notes here, a lot to say about this one, but I think I did cover it all. With all the props are black, so you just have the LEDs for orientation, so it can get a little tricky to keep orientation, even though the body does kind of have, you know, this design where you can sort of tell which way the front is, and, you know, they all kind of lean backwards. But, you know, just being all black, and if you're spinning a lot, it can be pretty easy to lose your orientation with this. So I would have liked to seen them, you know, add 2 different colored props for the front props at least. Yeah, that looks like that's all there is to say about it though, so let's go take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the MJX X900, little nano quadcopter. Pretty cool looking guy. Not a huge fan of the transmitter, but you can use the X600, the bigger Hexacopters transmitter, which is much better. And I'll start out on low rates, which is on the power switch here, which I'm also not a fan of. So there's our yaw rate. Pretty slow on low rates. And there's medium rates, not bad. And then high rates, I don't believe, doesn't look like it changes. I think medium and high rates are about the same, except for high rates has constant flip mode. So medium rates is what you want to fly on, and that's pretty decent. A little bit hard to keep your orientation sometimes, even with the LEDs. Let's, what is flip, I think? No. There we go. The left 2 shoulder button just does an automatic flip, since you can only do manual flips on high rates. Looks like I've got some trim issues. Try to get that sorted out a little bit. Alright. So yeah, it flies a little heavy, so after those flips it takes a while to recover. We'll just go back to flying now. Flies pretty well. Like I said, it's heavy, so it flies heavy. You gotta give it some room and kind of, you know, predict your movements. It doesn't like making super fast, quick moves, and takes a bit of throttle to keep itself going. It flies nice though. I think it would be better if the front props were white or something, a different color than the rest. I think that would help with orientation a little bit. You can turn the LEDs on and off with the right 2 shoulder button. There's a lot of extra buttons on here that I can't figure out if they do anything or not. Not really much to this one though. Another flip. Flips are not looking too great. Lots of throttle to recover there. I think they're also doing something weird because I have a little bit of a trim issue going on. Could use some recalibration, but I'm not going to bother with it since it's flying good enough for now. Trying to get a funnel going full throttle to keep it from losing elevation there. Alright, well I think that was really all there is to show with it, so I'll take it in for a landing. Oh, yep, there's LVC right there too. Perfect timing. Well, there we go. That's the MJX X900 nano hexacopter, the world's smallest hexacopter. Pretty cool looking. I love the design on it. Really neat. But anyway, check the video description for a price and purchase link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.